So today is May 3rd of 2020, and we've had unseasonably cool weather, so I've really not started a whole lot in this garden. The things I have going are brassicas and garlic and onions and some carrots, but everything else is just kind of not doing as great as I would like it to. But I have some borage here. We're just going to do a little update today. Some borage, some flowers, some poppies, and just some other little flowers. Have a geranium. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th year of our lavender. And you can see that one and this one especially has got so many flowers. It's going to be so fragrant and beautiful for the bees to be on. Hopefully I got a lot of pollinators. There's the sun. Going to water everything. But we already watered it, and we don't water at noon. I have some indigo pear tomatoes. Probably gonna have to pick one of those off and do survival of the fittest. So this is my garden this year. We expanded it a little bit to try to expand it as we need it to. Obviously I would like to have a bigger garden, and every year it shall get bigger. It will get bigger. I planted yesterday some nasturtiums. I have some day and night ones, and the day and night ones have cream and maroon flowers. And then I have a Bloody Mary mix in there as well. And, I think it's not Bloody Mary, I think it's cream nasturtiums, and they're like really pretty. I'm so excited for those. So with all my flowers up in the front, as you can see, we've kept flowers pretty much in the front, and that's kind of exciting. We have a sunflower right here, some marigolds. We harvested our kale last night for the first time. It was pretty tasty. I really enjoyed it. I probably could have harvested better when it just had frosted, but you know, you live and you learn. But it was a little bitter, but it was still really good. We especially mixed it in some other salad mix. What you doing, son? You getting the water? So this year I'm having really great success with carrots. I've noticed like this right here, this is little finger carrots, and then you have carrota carrots. I got those at Baker Creek. Little finger, you can find those anywhere. And I just kind of tossed some seeds right that way, and you know, they sprouted. My son's obsessed with marigolds, pulling the flowers off. So I really don't care. They just get bigger and bigger. I just have them there, not so much for prettiness, but as companion planting. One thing I did that I think has led to success with cabbages that I've not done in recent years is when I see a leaf, like for instance this leaf right here, that's touching almost the ground, I come and just twist it off. And I've noticed that they start heading out a lot more. And I don't know if it's just because I've done that simple step, or if it's because, you know, they've had long enough to grow. I'll get that and give that to chickens later. And because he sees me do it, he wants to do it too. This is my first year of growing turnips. I think I'm going to have to harvest these soon. It's getting a little too hot for the turnips, the cabbages, and all that too. I have an Amish paste tomato here. I planted it when it was too cold still. But it's doing really well. I have an ephaceated blossom right here, as you can tell, which basically means there's more than one tomato blossom there, and I'll probably have 1 to 2 or maybe even 3 fused tomatoes. Since it's the first blossom of the year, I'm going to go ahead and let it be there. And you know, normally you don't want to let ephaceated blossoms bloom because they'll make really wonky tomatoes, and they can have rot in the middle of them, and you really want good clean tomatoes. I also have some dill down there that's getting kind of mushed by the turnips. So once turnips get pulled out, it'll get a lot bigger. And it has grown a lot since I put it there. What you doing, son? You gonna water? You need some sunscreen, don't you, baby? You sure are cute with that hat. I'll tell you what. So we're gonna go around. A lot of it's not happening in this area as much as it's going to happen. But I have some painted serpent cucumbers right here. I'm hoping they'll trellis up this trellis here and be really pretty because they're supposed to be longer and they curl too. This is not doing very well, but it's a cucamelon or a sour gherkin. I also planted last night a Christmas lima bean. It's a pole bean, so we have our stuff here. We have our garlic, which I planted in December 23rd, I believe, and it's doing really good. I will be throwing some blood meal and some bone meal onto there. You have my seedlings still. Now, this is something I really didn't know, but I did some research on it. You don't want to plant your peppers until it's consecutively 50 degrees at night. As you can see, I have a whole lot of peppers, and a lot of these I plan on giving to my parents or people I work with that enjoy gardening as well. I have one tomato left. I'm just kind of babying it because all my tomatoes didn't do as good as I wanted them to. I guess I planted them too late, this is the first time I ever planted anything in these bags. And I'm not quite sure on the system yet and whether I like it or not, but it's convenient just to pick them up and put them in there. But if you don't have them really full and compact like this right here, they're really hard and they fall over a lot. But because of that, my watermelons kind of died, and I only had 6 seeds left of the Royal Golden watermelon. It's a melon that's yellow, and it's yellow with red flesh, which I think is pretty awesome. And I'm hoping I have success with that after this time, because they all died. They all just died. So I just hope that this second round does well. And I only planted 3 seeds and they're doing really well. I also have some Kajari melons right here. My husband really enjoyed those last year, so I had to plant them again for him. Hopefully we do better this year with the grow bags. We put them in the same spot. And we also have some sunflowers I just started. You see, we're going around full circle. This is an oxen heart tomato, just like the one that's in my grow bag over there. And I just threw it out here, and I think it was too cold for it. I think the Amish paste did really well because I covered it a lot and really babied it. I planted some Cherokee wax beans here last night. I have some red carrots and mixed there with beans. I also have onions. I have some watermelons. I planted these just throwing them out here. I didn't think it was ready temperature-wise for them, but they need to be planted. It was time, or they would have suffered the same fate. And it looks like only one of them is going to do well. And that's an orangelo. It's going to have green flesh with orange flesh, or green rim with orange flesh. There's my son picking everything in the garden. He thinks it's so fun because he sees me pull weeds, and so he's got to pick everything else. I just pulled off all the heads of those mums. You know, sometimes it's hard to garden when you have a plan of what you want it to be. But you know what? I think adding stuff onto the garden slowly, even though I want this whole area to be a garden eventually, I think it's good to just add slowly so you can just see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. My son is in love with outside, and so I had to have a garden just so I could be outside with him and have something to do instead of just sit there and watch him play. But after this, filming this, we're going to go to my parents' house. We're going to go over there and help my parents with their tomatoes. They only have one, it seems like it's really suffering. So I'm going to go over there, I'm going to plant it deep, put an egg in there. Well, you got to crack it first. And I'm going to hope that it helps the tomato live. You know, we don't want dead tomatoes. You buy tomatoes because you want tomatoes to have for the future, fresh tasting tomatoes. And honestly, I gave them that tomato because I didn't have room for it in my garden. And I kind of regret that because I do have room for it now, because a lot of my tomatoes I did plant or start didn't do as well. But I don't regret that because I'm going to go fix it, and I'm going to get some Sunkist Sugar tomatoes off of that one. But that's all I have for today. It's a beautiful day after having probably about a week pretty much this whole spring going in, or winter going into spring, has been really rainy. My yard is mush. But other than that, it's been pretty good. So, until next time I see you guys, well, see ya.